If you actually lived like a GTA 6 character in real life, you'd probably need to make more than $1 million a year. And no, I'm not talking about buying a private jet or owning a yacht. I'm talking about the stuff that looks completely normal in GTA. A ridiculous house, multiple expensive cars, designer clothes, going out every weekend, eating at expensive restaurants, taking luxury vacations. Basically, living like money doesn't matter. But here's the problem. In GTA, you can buy a $200,000 car and never think about insurance. In real life, that same car can keep taking money from you for years. So today, we're taking the GTA 6 lifestyle and putting a real-world price tag on it. And by the end, we're going to find out exactly how much you'd need to earn and how rich you'd actually need to be to live like a GTA 6 character. And trust me, the final number gets stupid. Before we start throwing numbers around, let's define what we're actually buying. Because we're not trying to recreate every single thing you can do in GTA 6. We're recreating the lifestyle. Imagine you're living somewhere like Miami. You have a modern luxury house, a garage with multiple high-end cars. You're eating out regularly. You're going to clubs. You're buying expensive clothes. You're taking several nice trips every year. And you don't have to constantly check your bank account before spending money. Basically, you've unlocked the GTA lifestyle in real life. And we're going to assume you're doing this as a single adult in the United States. All of the numbers in this video are estimates because real costs vary massively, depending on the city, property, cars, taxes, insurance, and how aggressively you spend. But we're going to keep the assumptions realistic. Let's start with the thing your GTA character probably spends the least time thinking, about the house. Imagine your GTA 6 character has one of those ridiculous modern homes overlooking the water, huge windows, pool, garage, multiple bedrooms, a giant kitchen, and enough outdoor space to make your neighbors wonder what you actually do for a living. In a real-world luxury market like Miami, a property like this could easily be worth around $3 million or more. But here's the mistake people make. They hear $3 million house and think, okay, I need $3 million. Not necessarily. You could finance the property, but the down payment alone could be enormous. At 20% down, you're looking at roughly $600,000 up front. Then you're financing about $2.4 million. And that's where the fun ends, because now you've got a mortgage, property taxes, home insurance, maintenance, utilities, pool maintenance, landscaping, and repairs. Depending on the exact property and financing, the yearly carrying cost could easily reach hundreds of thousands of dollars. Let's use a rough estimate of $200,000 a year for the overall housing burden. And remember, you haven't bought a single car yet. Now let's talk about the most important part of the GTA lifestyle, the garage. Because let's be honest, if your character owns a $3 million mansion but drives a 2008 Honda Civic, something feels wrong. So let's build a realistic GTA-inspired garage. Your daily driver could be something like a Porsche 911. Let's say roughly $150,000. Then you want something that looks like it escaped directly from GTA, a Lamborghini. Let's say $300,000. And then, obviously, you need the completely unnecessary third car, something exotic. Something that spends more time looking beautiful in the garage than actually being useful. Let's put another $400,000. Now your garage is sitting around $850,000. And that's before taxes, fees, and customization. But here's where cars become expensive. Owning them is one thing. Keeping them is another. Insurance can be brutal. High-performance tires aren't cheap. Brakes aren't cheap. Maintenance isn't cheap. Fuel isn't cheap. And depreciation can quietly destroy tens of thousands of dollars. If you're maintaining a collection like this, let's budget roughly $75,000 a year for insurance, maintenance, fuel, and other ownership costs. So your GTA garage isn't just an $850,000 purchase. It's a machine that keeps eating money. Now imagine your character gets out of the car. What are they wearing? Definitely not a $20 Walmart hoodie. We're talking designer clothes, premium sneakers, jewelry, a serious watch, and probably a wardrobe large enough to make your closet look like a storage unit. Let's say you spend $20,000 a year on clothes and shoes, then another $10,000 on jewelry and accessories. And maybe you own a luxury watch worth another $15,000 or $20,000. You don't necessarily buy all of that every year, obviously. But if we're calculating the lifestyle over time, let's budget around $40,000 a year for clothing, accessories, and keeping the look expensive. Because apparently, looking rich is itself a full-time subscription. Now we're hungry, and GTA characters don't exactly look like they're meal prepping chicken and rice every Sunday. So let's say you're eating out several times a week. Steakhouses, sushi, nice brunches, expensive coffee, delivery, drinks, and occasionally that restaurant where the menu doesn't show prices, which is basically the financial equivalent of a jump scare. Let's say you average around $150 a day across food, drinks, and eating out. That's roughly $55,000 a year. And this is actually where lifestyle creep starts becoming dangerous, because $150 doesn't feel insane for one day, but multiply it by 365, and suddenly your lunch has become a $55,000 annual decision. Now we enter the part where GTA starts feeling suspiciously realistic. Nightlife. Let's say you go out twice a month, not just walking into a club. We're talking VIP tables, drinks, transportation, tips, and the occasional night where your friends somehow convince you that spending $2,000 in 3 hours is a good idea. If you average around $2,000 per night, twice a month, that's $48,000 a year. And that's before concerts, sporting events, parties, and other entertainment. Let's add another $20,000. Now you're around $70,000 a year on entertainment and nightlife, which is hilarious, because in GTA, you can basically walk into a club, press a few buttons, and move on with your life. In real life, your credit card statement remembers everything. And if you're living this lifestyle, you're probably not spending every weekend sitting inside that $3 million house. You want to travel. New York, Los Angeles, Las Vegas, the Caribbean, Europe. Maybe you want a beach vacation where the hotel room costs more than your first car. Let's assume you take around 6 significant trips per year. Flights, hotels, restaurants, transportation, activities, shopping, a few luxury upgrades. Let's budget $75,000 a year. And honestly, depending on how you travel, you could blow through this number very quickly. But we're still trying to create a lifestyle that's rich, not completely insane. Now here's where things get interesting. We've already spent hundreds of thousands, but there are expenses people completely forget when they imagine being rich. Your house needs maintenance. Your cars need maintenance. Your expensive clothes need replacing. You need insurance. You might use accountants, financial advisors, cleaning services. You might have subscriptions and memberships, security, technology. And then there are the random expenses. The air conditioner breaks. A tire gets destroyed. The pool needs repairs. Your car needs something replaced. Something always happens. That's one of the biggest differences between GTA and real life. In GTA, things magically work. In real life, everything eventually sends you a bill. Let's reserve another $100,000 a year for these less visible lifestyle expenses. And now, we can finally calculate the damage. Let's put everything together. Luxury home, tilde $200,000 per year. Cars, tilde $75,000 per year. Clothes and accessories, tilde $40,000 per year. Food, tilde $55,000 per year. Nightlife and entertainment, tilde $70,000 per year. Travel, tilde $75,000 per year. Miscellaneous luxury expenses, tilde $100,000 per year. And that gives us roughly $615,000 per year just to maintain the lifestyle, not to become richer, not to invest, not to build a business, not to save for retirement, just to keep living this way. And remember, we're not even including the original purchase price of your house and cars. You could have more than $3.8 million tied up in your house and 3-car garage alone. And now comes the part that makes this even crazier. Because you don't actually need to spend $615,000. You need to earn enough that you can spend it after taxes. Let's say you're earning $1 million a year. That sounds ridiculous. You might think, I'm basically set for life. Not necessarily. Because your gross income isn't the same as the money you can actually spend. Taxes can take a very large chunk of a high income depending on where you live, and your circumstances. So after taxes and other financial obligations, that $1 million salary could be dramatically smaller. And then you're trying to maintain a lifestyle costing around $615,000. Suddenly, $1 million doesn't sound quite as crazy anymore. And this is why I'd say you'd probably want around $1 million plus in annual gross income to realistically support this lifestyle without constantly feeling financially squeezed. But even that doesn't answer the biggest question. How rich would you actually need to be? Because here's something GTA doesn't teach you. Income isn't wealth. You can make $1 million a year and still be broke. If you're making $1 million and spending $900,000, you're not building much wealth. You're just living an expensive life. But imagine someone making $300,000 a year. They live on $120,000. They invest the difference. They buy assets. They build businesses. They keep their lifestyle under control. Over time, that person could become dramatically wealthier than someone earning $1 million and spending almost all of it. That's the difference between looking rich and being rich. And if you actually wanted to maintain the GTA lifestyle without depending entirely on your paycheck, you'd probably want a substantial net worth. For example, a $10 million plus net worth would make a lifestyle at this level much more comfortable, depending on how that wealth is invested and how aggressively you spend. At that point, you're not just earning money. Your money is helping pay for the lifestyle. And that is when real life starts looking a little more like GTA. So let's answer the question. How much money would you need to live like GTA 6? A realistic GTA-inspired luxury lifestyle could cost roughly $600,000 per year to maintain. And to comfortably support that after taxes and other financial obligations, you could be looking at $1 million plus in annual gross income. And if you want that lifestyle to feel genuinely comfortable instead of financially dangerous, you're probably talking about multi-million dollar net worth, potentially around $10 million or more, depending on your spending and assets. And that's without a private jet, without a yacht, without owning 10 supercars, just the lifestyle, which is probably the funniest part. Because in GTA, you can become ridiculously wealthy and somehow make it look completely normal. In real life, a single luxury car can cost more than someone's house. A mansion can cost millions, and maintaining the lifestyle can cost hundreds of thousands every single year. So the next time you're driving around Vice City in GTA 6, remember, that character isn't just rich. He's probably spending more money in a week than most people see in a year. And that's exactly what we break down here on Broke Daddy. The real cost behind the cars, houses, lifestyles, and things that look expensive, but almost nobody actually calculates. Because there are things you might never know, unless you do the math. And if you want to know how much money you'd actually need to own the supercars you're seeing in GTA 6, check out the next video. Because trust me, the car isn't the expensive part.